Welcome to the next part of the Loire Valley, end to end. So here I'm starting, as I wanted to do the other day, in the city of Tours. Now I'm stood on a bridge that is across the River Loire, and what I'm doing is I'm looking towards the beautiful Gothic cathedral of Saint Gatien, which is not actually in the historic centre, it's actually on the very edge of the historic centre. Now this is a really nice city to come to. As I said at the beginning of the other vlog the other day, this is actually when I first came to live in France. This is the city that I first lived in, and now I live out in a village west of Tours. But here there's actually quite a lot to do. I would love to show you inside the cathedral today. Unfortunately it opens at 9 o'clock, so I can't get in there early enough to show you the interior of Saint Gatien. I'd love to show you the exterior. I could do it this time of day, but I'd prefer to show it to you in really good light. This morning got a few things that I am going to be showing to you, but let's show you why I'm here. Let's show you what you should have seen the other day but couldn't because of all the thick fog that was there. Let's show you Saint Gatien across the River Loire. Now the GoPro is on linear mode, so you can't really get a good sort of telephoto shot of this. I'd have to change the settings, but basically that's the cathedral there. That is Saint Gatien. I have actually been very lucky to be able to go up in the towers. The public are not allowed to go. I managed to wangle my way up there when I first arrived in this city. An old neighbour of mine who's sadly passed away, he said to me when he was younger, you used to be able to go up in the towers, and I thought, really? And so I managed to get the permission to go up there. Amazing view across the city. It is, I would say, actually the highest point in the city of Tours from what I can see here. What you can't see is over this direction here is actually the old city of Tours. And there's a lot of old buildings in the old city of Tours. So it's called, the area that most people congregate in is called Place Plumereau. And you've got lots of half-timbered buildings. Some of them have got sculptures on. It's really nice to see. I can see, but you probably can't see on the GoPro, but in this direction here there's a tiny dome, and that is the Basilica of San Matas, Saint Martin. Now opposite that is actually the remains of the original Basilica of St Martin, and you've got an old clock tower, and I think I don't actually know what it is. There's another tower that's there. It looked to be a huge building. Now I'm here waiting for dawn. The other day when I was here, you could not see this at all. You could see maybe 10 meters, and that was it. But this is what I wanted to do, and I'm looking right now. I can see there's some color in the sky. I'm going to put on my polarizer because dawn is actually that way. This is why I've come here. I did think about, and you can go over, there is a footbridge there which gives you a bit of a view, but the best view actually is that building over there, by the way, with the sort of greenish pyramid shaped roof. That's the library. There's another bridge there called Pont Wilson Bridge. You can stand on there and you can get a view over to the cathedral as well. So I'm going to show you different places this morning. I'm going to go back to my house for lunch and then carry on this afternoon. But there you go, looks like it's going to be a beautiful morning and day by the looks of it in the Loire Valley. So there is the view across the Loire, and sorry for the traffic, it's around 8 o'clock or so people are starting to go to work. Now one of the things you've got to be careful about with this bridge is if it's heavy traffic, so if you come here in the middle of the day, the bridge will move, but just because of all the joints in the bridge. So you've got to be aware of that when you're doing things. So for example, at the moment, I wouldn't be thinking about taking a shot right now. There's actually a bus coming just there. So when that goes across, if there's two, then you definitely get movement. But as I said, you can see there's some colour coming there. Composition-wise, if you're thinking, what's he doing composition-wise, there's the cathedral there. It's sat on, actually, the cathedral was kind of sat on the third. What I've done is I've put the towers more in a central position. You can see the autumn colour there. Now, what lens-wise, it's 100 to 400. There's reflections of the trees in the Loire. You can't see the cathedral in the Loire. You can see a little bit, but not too much. But actually, just below the lens level, the camera level there's actually a huge sandbank which the Loire is quite empty at the moment. I'm surprised it's that empty, but I guess it is what it is. It probably won't be too long and the water levels will be back up. But yeah, beautiful shot this morning. There's still some colour in the leaves, and I know certainly around where I live there's quite a few leaves still on the trees. So yeah, let's get going. Going to go back to the car in a minute, just going to get a couple more shots, wait till the sun comes up properly, see what it will do to my shot, if anything, and then move on. Let's talk a little bit about local knowledge. I've come away from the city of Tours. I've come to the village, or just outside actually, the village of Loire, and on the top of the hill above the village is the castle. It's a beautiful castle. Now I've got a long lens shot looking down the road that goes off the main road into the village, and I know that either in the morning or in the late afternoon that the sun beams a light through the trees, the avenue of trees that goes up towards the castle. Now it can be a little bit frustrating getting the shot just because there's quite a lot of cars that go up and down the road. It's the main road into the village, so you just have to choose your moment. But it looks beautiful this morning. There's a very low mist that's been going across the fields in front of the castle. It's not covering the castle, which is quite nice. There's a little bit of cloud in the background, but there are actually a lot of obstructions on the way down into the shot. I'll explain that when I just turn the camera around, but you'll see this is sometimes actually when you come across a conundrum whereby you have something that you say to yourself whereby you're not going to clone things out, you're not going to do this, not going to do that. This is going to be one of those rare occasions where I look at a photograph and you think, right, for commercial purposes, that has to come out. I'll just explain. There's the shot that's looking down towards the castle. I think I said it was Loire, I can't remember. But actually Luynes, this is the Chateau de Luynes. There. This is the problem. You've got all these cars coming up and down here all the time. It's the main road that goes into the city of Tours. Of course, people live around here. It's quite a big village. What's the big problem though for me that I look at as a photographer is that you've got all of these electricity lines here. Very frustrating. And this is where you have to make that decision whereby you look at it and you think, do I or do I not clone it out? The answer is actually in this case, yes you do. There are actually as well some street lights that are there as well, and you think again, do you clone it out? I don't know with that, but certainly the electricity lines I find very frustrating, and I think they're going to have to come out. I was here a couple of weeks ago, not vlogging, and I got a lot more colour in the trees, so now you can see a lot of the leaves are disappearing, but beautiful side light here in the morning looking towards that beautiful castle up there of Luynes, the Chateau de Luynes. I've come back down to the edge of the Loire, and I've come back to where people were saying to me the other day in my last vlog, said, oh, I really love that boat, that sunken boat. Actually, that boat you were looking at isn't taking on water at all. It is actually still floating. It's just actually over there behind camera left. I'm actually photographing the sunken boat now, and I've done a couple of compositions. I thought, oh, I'm going to get this with my tilt shift. I can get something kind of really clever. Could I? Actually, no. It needs a 50mm tilt shift. Actually, it needs going into it, needs the scene compressing and actually looking at it at a lot longer focal length than trying to do a wide angle. Now, one of the issues that I have, and I'm thinking, you know, is it or isn't it a good image? It's okay, it doesn't look too bad, is that behind camera right is actually the riverbank, and then there's a small a new tree that's growing up there, or a shrub, so it's kind of framing the right hand edge. Do I really want that? I don't know. It's okay. What is really nice at the moment is there's some cloud on the horizon to the west, and with the angle of the sun, which you can see on me to the left there, it's giving really nice side lighting across the scene. This is somewhere I've photographed many times. Sometimes if I've come down here vlogging like a review or something like that. I did a review ages ago on drone filters and I filmed it down here just because it's easy to get to for me. It's local. It's literally a few minutes from where I live. So I come down here quite often if I think the weather's going to be nice and I'm going to get a good shot. So it does look really nice this morning. I'll stop chit-chatting. I'll show you what it is I've got, and then you can make up your own mind as to if it works or not. This is what I'm looking at. This is what I was saying here on the right-hand side. It's okay, I suppose. It's not too bad. There's a sunken boat, as you can see. That's, if you remember in the vlog the other day, I said, oh, there's a boat you cannot see. That is the boat I've never seen before, actually. I've never seen it anchored there at all. It seems to be quite new. You get a lot of these boats along the Loire. These are traditional wooden boats that get along here. And that boat there, that's your misty boat shot, folks that were liking that. So I've got a better picture of it in mist, actually. The one you saw the other day was just too much. It kind of, if it has the mist and it's thick, it really needs it when the sun is actually trying to break through the mist and you've got some light on it. Otherwise it looks too drab. It really does. Now this one here, what I've done here is I've got my 2470 on, and if I can just stand up without breaking my knee, it's on about 50mm. So that says to me, a 50mm tilt shift, please come my way, Father Christmas. Now what I've done is when I'm looking at this, you've got that crosshair again. So I do like using this diagonal crosshair in my images. So you can see you've got the X. And what I've done is I've placed part of the boat on the third, and then what I've done is you've got the angle of the boat is following the diagonal. Remember, in composition, diagonals are very strong. So that's going in there. Now, does it or does it not work? I don't know. I look at it and think, from here at the moment, yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But I'm not sure. I honestly am not sure. There's a polarizer on the front. It polarizes up really nicely in the morning. And on the top third here, you've got the horizon. You've got the smaller boat that's out there. Well, not smaller. It looks smaller from here. You've got that other boat out here. And then there's the sunken boat there in the foreground. So, you know, I said it looks really nice. Beautiful morning. So yeah, does it or does it not work? Don't know. Actually, what would be really nice, being really picky, is a very low mist, and there's being dawn, and then you've got low mist on the Loire, which there was kind of this morning. I might come back and do it on Tuesday morning if I can get out. But yeah, it's looking really nice at the moment. Beautiful weather. Now, what I'm going to do from here is I'm just going to go to one or two other places. I'm just going to show you in the local area. Then I'm going back to my home, and I'm going to just stay there, recuperate a little, then go out in the afternoon. But I'm going to show you, this isn't actually the best time of day to get it, or I don't think it's going to work. I'm going to show you something very, let's say, special in the middle of a field. You'll see very soon. So I promised you something a little bit special, and I'm here in a field, what looks like to be the middle of a field. Well, certainly there's open field there in front of the camera, or behind the camera I should say. What is it? It's a Roman aqueduct. It's an aqueduct that's approximately 1800 years old. What on earth is it doing up here in the middle of just almost, well, it's not the middle of nowhere. The village of Julian is about 2-3 kilometers that way. What on earth is it doing here? Well, that might tell you something. There's a settlement, a village. So according to the information board, which is just over there, which I've just read, it says that basically about 1800 years old. It's a 2nd century aqueduct. Been restored a few times over the centuries. So there's 6 of the arches are still actually original from what I was reading. And there's apparently a lot of water sources to the north. That's basically north that way. So that would bring the water from those water sources down here, and then somewhere further along it would actually go down underneath the ground. I don't know where that is, but you'll see the structure. Do you know what? I've actually lived here 5 years now, 5.5 years, nearly 6 years. This is the first time I have ever photographed this aqueduct. Why haven't I done it before? It's just one of those things, you know, just how it is. Ideally though, this should be an afternoon shot, but I do kind of like the shadows that are coming through the aqueduct, so I'm going to have to do a blend of two images. Now I did see maybe I can actually get to the other side of it, but I don't know. I don't know if it's somebody's private property or not. I can see a car that's parked up there, so there's a potential that it's either a small rest area or it's private property. I'll find out in a minute, but just I'm going to turn the camera around. You'll see this glorious, glorious ancient Roman aqueduct. And there is that glorious, beautiful aqueduct there. You can see that's going along. So Loire is that way, so north is that way. So the water was coming down this direction here, going down, and then the Loire is down that way. As I said, I've never photographed this before. I mean, ideally, I personally would prefer it with the afternoon light, but then you're not going to get the long shadows this way. Now, just actually on that edge there's a house. I've got no idea why it's actually right up close to the aqueduct. Whoever allowed that in the planning department should summarily be fired for doing that, for having such a beautiful structure. And it does actually carry on probably for about another 200 meters behind the camera. As I said, I've never photographed this before. I think it's sometimes that's how it can be, is that you live somewhere and you don't appreciate what is actually there just because you're too busy traveling around the world. But yeah, I've got a shot. It's not too bad. I'm going to actually go up there because I can see there's a car parked just actually behind one of the columns there. That's what's left of the aqueduct. It might be that it's private property. It might be that it's actually a place that you can park. I don't know. I've never really sort of stopped there very long up here. I've only been up here a couple of times, to be honest, just to go and sort of look and go, okay, that's where it is. I know it's there. I'll get it at some point. And here we go. This is the some point that I'm getting at it. But there you go. Beautiful, beautiful structure. Not hard to see why they say it's one of the most beautiful architectural things that is still left in Western France. It's after lunch. I've eaten, I've rested. It's about 1:45 in the afternoon, and I started to make my way further westwards again. So, home is about 15 minutes from where I am, where I'm stood. Where am I stood? I'm stood in Langeais, or kind of. Langeais is behind the camera. I'm basically on the banks of the Loire, looking at the suspension bridge. So if you can hear a noise every so often, it's because of the cars going over the joints on the suspension bridge. Now, Langeais has a beautiful castle here, beautiful chateau. You come here early in the morning, and if you get a nice mist on the Loire, sometimes it circles around the chateau. There's a few places to do around here. Now, I know it's a little bit harsh kind of light here at the moment, and I've done a shot, f11, 1/30th of a second, ISO 100, and I'm looking at it thinking, yeah, it's not too bad. But you know what, let's try something a little bit different. Let's go a bit fine art on you all. So I know a lot of people enjoyed that video, that complete Mickey take of the fine art crew, but hopefully you got something out of it. There's a subscriber who I'm going to call out now, and I think it was this guy that reminded me that I should be thinking about this. Is Gerard Ferry said to me, why don't you do a little bit of infrared, as you're very often out in the middle of the day, and I mean I have to at times, it's just how it goes, you know, that I can't control when it is I can go out at times just because of family, having to take children to school or whatever. But in any case, I've come out, it is the middle of the day, I will be out to the end of the day, but I'm here stood in front of the suspension bridge. I've never been here before on this side of the bridge. There is a path that's down here. It looks as though you can't get here, but you can. You just have to climb down a muddy bank. Now I've taken a shot, as I said, and I'm looking at it thinking, yeah, it's not bad, but I tell you what, let's try that infrared filter that I've got and see what it does in this bright sunshine. There is still some green in the trees in the background. We've got the green on the grass over there. It could be very interesting. It's going to very much smooth out the water. Do I need my polarizer? I will make it 2 minutes. So 1/30th of a second, it's about 10 stops, that infrared filter. So that'll make it 30 seconds. So if I put on my polarizer as well, it's going to make it 2 minutes exposure time. So we'll see. I'm going to put it on to see what happens at 30 seconds and whether or not I feel it's justified putting on the polarizer. I've been having a bit of a drive around some of the country roads in the Loire Valley. Found some really nice woodland actually, which I might go and exploit on my next trip out. But I wanted to come here this afternoon. Now, it's not necessarily the best light that's on the priory that's behind me, but it doesn't matter in some respects, because when you, for example, you've got this white stone, yes, it's nice to have sort of shadows on it, but actually just what is there is just really nice. It's really nice and peaceful here. You can get some detailed shots of this old priory here. This is about nearly 1,000 years old. This priory that's here is built in about 1067 in Romanesque architecture, which you can hopefully see if you know your Romanesque. It's certainly not Gothic. And it seems to have been stood here until at least the late 1700s. No idea what happened to it then. I was just reading the information board. It doesn't say when it started to fall apart, but it just looks really nice. I've come here a couple of times before, never really done anything with it, but I've got my camera with me now. What I'm going to do is just do some detailed shots of this priory here. There's some beautiful stone sculptures up there, which you'll see. So it's just going to need my 100 to 400. Let's get stuck in and let's get some detailed shots of this old ruined priory. I've come to the city of Chinon on the banks of the River Vienne just to end the vlog. Why? Oh, there's this bank of cloud that's come over. Very frustrating. What can you do? Not a lot you can do about it. It's not really where I wanted to end the vlog. I wanted to end the vlog in the vineyards that are north of here going towards Saumur. The next time that I do a Loire Valley end to end, it might actually be the last end to end, giving you a bit of an idea of what's here in the Loire Valley. That will go from Saumur to around Angers. Now the city of Angers is not actually included in the official boundary of the Val de Loire UNESCO Heritage Site. So will I show any of it? I don't know, but obviously the book that I'm working on, I think it would be criminal actually to not put it in. In any case, I hope you've enjoyed what it is that you've seen. Sorry to end it on a bit of a damp squid, as frustrating as it is for me, as frustrating as it is for yourselves as well out there. I know you like seeing really nice looking images, but what can I do? It is what it is. The weather does what it does, and it is autumn. So until the next time, subscribe if you haven't, click on the bell up there, stay safe, see you again soon, sometime, somewhere in France.